Welcome back to the Cyclone Fanatic halftime show presented by the Iowa Pork Producers. Over here at Cyclone Fanatic, we love pork and we are so thankful for their continued support. I'm your host, Leah Nelson. Chris will be joining us in a few, and we're in the Wild Rose Casino studio. Iowa State is leading Texas Tech 13-10 going into half, and we are so excited. We have lots to talk about, but before we do, let's thank a few of our sponsors. We'll start with Central States Roofing. Thanks to our friends over at Central States Roofing. They have been a locally owned business for the past 56 years and counting. They specialize in commercial projects and they have offices all over. So make sure you visit csroofing.com for more. And our friends over at Carl Auto Group, they've been a sponsor of Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network for nearly 10 years. With locations all over, you can count on Carl Auto Group to serve all of your vehicle needs. Make sure you visit carlautogroup.com today. And now Chris can join us and we can get into all of the fun stuff.
Yes.
Iowa State, starting off their typical way, a little slow, but obviously the momentum has shifted going to half. What are your initial reaction or thoughts for this first half of football?
Very similar to you, my friend. We've seen this before. You could probably I don't know if you can live bet on drives. I don't know if that's even like a thing, but you could have made a lot of money betting on the other team to score against Iowa State in the first possession this year. They do it every game. And, as we've seen so many times, John Haycock and this defense has made a ton of adjustments and been really effective. So good stat here, Leah. The Iowa State defense, Iowa State Athletic Communications Director Matt Schultz gave me this stat, credit to him. Iowa State hasn't had a sack in its last 3 games. It has 3 in the first half today. So, even the first drive, first of all, Tech is probably, I still think they're the most skilled offensive team Iowa State has seen this year. And I know we keep saying that, but it's because the schedule is getting more difficult. So, their quarterback and receivers, it's the best combo Iowa State has seen. To have a scripted drive like that, Tech came out and Iowa State has a couple guys fall over on that touchdown. It still felt a little bit fluky, but the adjustments have been incredible. And, just watching these defenders fly to the football, if Iowa State can because this is the one thing I think if we're all going to pick on this defense a little bit, and there's reasons to, right? Like stopping the run, all that stuff. But the D-line getting pressure with 3 has been an issue for years now. If they can do that in the second half, this Tech offense could throw some more jump balls. We saw a couple of impressive interceptions with Purchase, and the one Darian Porter made was one of the best plays of the year for all of Iowa State football. I think that I think what Iowa State's defense is doing is sustainable. I don't know if Texas Tech and what it did to Iowa State's offense in the first half is sustainable. We'll see. But don't you feel, Leah, like watching this game from home, Iowa State? I don't want to. It feels like you're pretty fortunate to be winning by 3 right now, and I always like it when you don't play your best or anywhere close to it, and you still have a lead. And that's where Iowa State's at right now.
Yeah, there's been some fluky things and drop passes by people who don't usually drop passes, and but this is how Iowa State kind of starts. We've talked about this at the pregame show, and so I'm not nervous. I think
I'm
going into after that last touchdown, obviously, but I think this is just kind of Iowa State's ball, and we'll see coming into the next half. Obviously, all the momentum is on our side, which feels really good. But what are some big adjustments that Iowa State needs to make in this next half to make sure it keeps going in our favor?
I'm a little surprised. I shouldn't be. Because it's consistent with what they do. I'm a little surprised Iowa State started the half trying to run the ball as much as they did on offense. I understand it. I understand it because Tech's pass defense is statistically so bad. And I think Taylor Mauser thought, man, if we could establish a running game and then throw on these guys, we're going to be able to throw for 500 yards today. But the problem is Iowa State's not running the ball well. And Iowa State's offensive line has been good but not great this year, but they've had a hell of a time up front today with Texas Tech. So, listen, I think I'm a throw to set up the run guy. I think that today they were running to set up the pass, and I'm not even being critical of it because I understand. They felt like we should be able to go up there and bully these guys. Well, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like Rocco Beck has dropped back 21 times. I'm guessing he's been under pressure 15 of them. Like he hasn't been great, but you got to give him a better chance to, do. I'm wondering, I think there were more opportunities for Rocco to run.
I think so
today
too.
Than he has. And I'm wondering, Leah, if they didn't tell him to knock it off after the last game, because he's just so valuable. You don't want him to get hurt. And I don't know that. Nobody's told me that, but that last game, he almost got to the point where, and that was a much better D line that Central Florida had than this Texas game. I don't know. It feels to me like he's not looking to run, and is that good or bad? I don't know. I don't know. Those guys are smarter than me, but it just looks totally different.
It does.
And that's okay. But I would like to see as an adjustment goes. I mean, if Hansen, here's what I don't get. Okay. I don't understand how one running back is so much better than the other two. That like Sama, 4 rushes for -4 yards. Jackson, 3 rushes for 7 yards. Hansen, 5 for 29. And we're starting to see this consistently now. So, like, you can't tell me it's all on the line, or it's just bizarre that one guy's stats are – because Carson Hansen's great, but he's not like LaDainian Tomlinson in his prime, right? Like, this isn't – and most of you young kids don't even get that reference.
No.
God, I'm going to go. But, I don't understand what's going on with the running backs. I'm going to ask some questions in the week, because I know Hansen's just running better. He's running more downhill. Why is he that much? What? I don't know. But if the other guys are going to be in there, do the short passing game. I don't know. Like I hate wasting runs when you've got receivers like Beck and Higgins and a quarterback like Rocco. Everybody knows my offensive philosophy. I would have 5 wide out there, just throwing it out there all the time. But that's not what they do here. I respect that. They've had a lot of success on offense. I think the adjustments will be made. And I think Iowa State's going to put up a ton of points in the second half. My analysis on this game really hasn't changed much, other than, hey, you asked me on Wednesday, you said, what happens if Iowa State loses? And I said, well, you got to do it to yourself. And, Rocco's interception probably wasn't on him. But that's a, turnover. Jalen had the drop pass that you referenced. He doesn't ever do that. That's 2 games in a row now where 13's dropped a big pass for Iowa State, right? Like, clean it up, and you should win this game comfortably by double digits. That's just kind of how I feel. I also, while I think what Iowa State's doing defensively is sustainable, it's a good offense, guys. So, like, I'm not expecting Tech to end this game on 10. Like, I think they'll get another touchdown or 2. I really do. So, to me, it's like buckle up and expect a shootout. And you are who you are at this point, right? And it's not a great rushing team. Iowa State's not a great rushing team. They're an elite passing team when they want to be. I almost dropped an F-bomb. Freaking lean into it. Like, I love offensive football. Aiden's laughing next to me because I talk in the office all the time about this. And I think that they can throw all over this team. But they got to get Tech off balance somehow, though, because Iowa State's offensive line is on skates. And I totally wrong. I didn't expect that. Sorry, you asked me a simple question and I ran.
No, I love it. This is why people tune in. They want to hear what you have to say. But
I hate
you go.
I hate pounding your head against a concrete wall running the football. It drives me nuts. And I know why they do it. Like, I get it. I've talked to these coaches. They're paid millions of dollars. I'm not. I hate pounding your head against a concrete wall trying to run the football. It drives me insane when you have all these athletes use the short passing game as your running game. Thank you.
I think they'll make those changes, and you're positive. We're feeling good about this next half.
I feel great.
This is typical. We expected this. This is what we talked about.
Don't throw a pick six. Don't get a punt blocked. any of that stuff. Like, and Iowa State should win this game. Like, they're better than these guys, but I do respect Tech, though. Like, that's the thing. They were one of my dark horses to win the league in the offseason. Now, that has clearly changed, but this is a talented team, and they have one of the best offensive coaches in the entire country. So they will make an adjustment. I wouldn't be surprised if they get the ball and score on their first drive when it's scripted. Okay. Like I could see that happening right now, but I don't think Tech's defense is good enough to stop Iowa State consistently when Iowa State is doing what it does well. Quit. I love Abu Sama. I've told fans to stay off of his ass for weeks now. He's going to win some games for Iowa State in the future. It ain't working right now.
Mm-hmm.
Get him out of there. Play 26 the whole half if he's healthy enough. And get out of this thing, because you're going to have a hell of a Kansas team that is pissed, that is coming off of a bye, and that's going to be a hell of a game next week. I'm worried about that one in Arrowhead Stadium, but this is a game Iowa State should win.
They got it.
There you go.
That's it. Mic drop.
I still think Iowa State's going to win this thing by.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. And it helped. Again, the biggest thing for me was seeing Iowa State finally get pressure defensively, because I think they can get some. I think this could be a high turnover half for Texas Tech. Iowa State could have 5 turnovers at the end of this thing, but you got to keep them down. That's the thing, because once that team gets the lead, then they can start running that Brooks, who's a really good running back, and that's how we got to see Iowa State play with a 2-score lead, and the game's over.
Yep. I'm gonna stop you there. You're gonna talk.
I'll just keep talking all game. I love this stuff. This is what I'm passionate about.
I love it.
Quit pounding your head against concrete.
You heard it, everyone that's listening. Quit pounding your head.
I think Iowa State has a great coordinator, and I think he's going to see it too. I think we have one of the best coordinators in the country. I know he's unproven, and the play design, that diamond formation when he goes right to Higgins. Oh, it was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty. Just freaking protect the quarterback and don't do anything stupid.
Perfect. And he's drinking. So I'm going to say thanks to all of our sponsors. Make sure you tune in to our post-game show after this next half. But again, thanks to the Iowa Pork Producers, Carl Auto Group, and Central States Roofing. Thanks. Bye.